zoom, drop, right. There we go. Up a bit. Right, there we go. Very pretty kingfisher. A brown-hooded kingfisher. It's an insectivorous kingfisher. So he feeds more on insects and that and doesn't really sit around the water. So, Debbie, let me get to your parrots. So Africa does have quite a few indigenous parrot species. As far as I know, we do not have any thick-billed parrots that occur anywhere in Africa. So the grey-headed parrot, number 4, occurs here. Sorry, number 3. And then the other parrot that occurs here is the brown-headed parrot, number 5. Very noisy, you hear them squawk. But for me, definitely the most incredible parrot viewing I've ever had in my life was while I was living in the Central African rainforest, and you have 1,000 African greys fly over you after feeding in the raffia palms, and all that, and noises and squeals and squeaks. It was an absolutely mind-blowing experience. Guys, I was just wondering, after seeing that brown-hooded kingfisher, all the woodlands are gone. I wonder if anyone can remember when was the last drive. What date was the last drive anyone can remember seeing a woodlands kingfisher? Send your answers to questions at WildEarthTV, or if you're on Twitter, just use the hashtag SafariLive. When was the last time anyone, what date was the last date that anyone can remember seeing a woodlands kingfisher? And we see they're gone, moved off to Central and North Africa for our winter. There's an impala having a drink by the looks of things. Let's just try and get around to the right side of the water. Isn't that a beautiful scene? Nice reflection. So guys, if you hear a click, it's just my camera. One more for luck. Ah, there's a fun bird I heard it call. See if I can spot them now. So the last time I asked you this bird, guys, it stumped a few of you. Try to see if we can get a sight of one of them. Can you see any of them, Andrew? No. You'll just keep looking at Very peaceful scene. But you see, even though the impala is really thirsty, he'll keep lifting his head and checking around because he's quite vulnerable when his head is down. Oh, I thought I saw the bird move. We'll have a look. We'll just let this impala finish his drink. See that being constantly alert is what will keep him alive a little bit longer, Archer. Go ahead. You're referring to those very dark patches on his back legs around where his ankles would be. Those are called metatarsal glands, and there's a couple of different theories why you would of what a metatarsal gland does. There's one is that when they get chased by a predator, when all the impalas jump up and kick, they secrete a pheromone that is supposed to confuse predators. Myself, I don't believe that to be true. I think that's a very far fetch. The more sensible explanation from what the pheromone they secrete there is that once they have been chased by predators, they are able to join back into a herd together by using that. Sorry, Tina, you're talking about that dark spot a little bit higher. From that angle we're looking at now, that is just actually bare skin of the belly. Underneath there, it's just showing up quite dark in the afternoon light. And then when he was facing the other direction, the dark matter was his wedding tackle. Thanks very much, Chris. Chris says that the last time that a woodlands kingfisher was seen on drive was the 9th of April. So we must definitely remember that to see if when they come back to visit the Lowveld again. There's a very thirsty impala. Thanks, James, for also confirming the 9th of April was the last day that a woodland kingfisher was seen on live drives. So we'll leave that boy to continue his afternoon drink. Please stand by very bad area. I'm going to go as fast as I can up to the top of the hill. So as the plan from here is we meander towards the den. Now that we might get lucky and see some activity there, and then after that make our way back to the Kunyuma male leopard if he's decided to stop being a sleepy cat and gone up to the tree to start feeding again. Lovely late afternoon light starting to creep through. The temperature is dropping. It's still a little warm, but it's almost at that sort of ideal temperature. And strangely enough, because of the dry season, with all the dust and smoke in the air, you get some spectacular Any station checked Nisikana this evening. copy. I'm on Weaver's Nest, making my way towards the position. I'll keep you updated. Negative, nothing. Sorry, man. No signs of them. Have you had a look around Zoe's, Rebecca's? Copy, good luck. It's just amazing if we can have a look as we're driving here at how the light plays with all the colours on these bush willows as they're drying out. We're nearly at the hyena den now. The animals are going to be active, but you never know. Go ahead. Good afternoon, Julia from Houston. Julia would like to know whether brown-hooded kingfishers are resident or migratory. They are resident, so they are with us all year. Out of our insectivorous kingfishers that are with us all year is in this area will be the brown-hooded and the striped, and then around the water in these areas we have pied, malachite, giant in some areas, as well as in very small streams, and I know I've seen them in other pescivorian kingfishers, and the pescivores, they like to eat fish, and the insectivores feed mainly off insects, although they do take small frogs and snakes as well. So we're approaching the hyena den now. Unfortunately, so far it doesn't look like anyone is home. Well, if the young ones are home, they are down in the den. So it would have been wonderfully beautiful light to see the young ones in, but with their mothers out foraging, they're probably not going to come out. And even if they did, we probably wouldn't want to spend too much time with them while they were out without their mothers. and kill them. So even if we generally try not view dens and that unless there are adults present. So not to encourage the cubs to come out by themselves. I think we'll make our way back towards the Kunyuma young male leopard and see if he's decided that it's cool enough to grace us with some acrobatics and climb the tree. Also wonderful golden light. Nisikaya is not active. I'm going to be making my way back towards Kunyuma. Go ahead. Good afternoon, Bob in this area. A young male leopard called Quarantine Male, and he'd been lost and alarm call, a dwarf mongoose alarm call, and I just knew immediately that where the leopard was, so I was able to find the leopard due to these little guys on the log. See? Ah, and what they'll be doing now is this. Oh, there we go, in front of us, on the right hand side of the termite. So this large termite mound is probably where, okay, right, there we go, where they're going to bed down for the evening. They'll live in the burrow. Keep them safe from predators. So as it gets to this time of the day, they'll generally move into one of these burrows, and they'll have quite a few different burrows that they'll sleep in within their home range. But I'll leave these guys to go ahead. Good afternoon, Evan from North Carolina. Evan would like to know when the last time we saw the quarantine male leopard was. When we saw him very close to camp, and he had a slight limp. It might have just been from a thorn. I don't think he was a major injury at all. He might have just stood on a thorn while we were following him. But he was looking a little hungry. Nothing too serious, but he could definitely have had a snack. Oh, we have definitely had some actions for the last year. It looks like the hyenas have found the spot. I can't see the leopard. Can you? Ah, he's in the tree. So the hyenas forced him up the tree, and he is feeding. Oh, that is look. So he's feeding up in the tree. Standing by. You can see what it looks like he's doing there is he's taking pieces of fur off. They'll try to remove as much fur as possible from the carcass. There you saw a bit of it fall down, float down, before they go eat the meat. Unfortunately, they do swallow quite a bit of meat, so they do have hairballs, and their feces has got quite a lot of hair in it, because they are not able to digest keratin, which is what the hair and fur is made of. Unbelievable how patient hyenas are. The first time I ever found Kunyuma, which is quite recently after I started here, and he was also the first leopard I found tracking on foot, and 3 full days underneath that carcass, just waiting for bones and bits. There we are, we can see now. We're wondering whether it was a male or female steenbok. We now know it's a male. Just moving into a more comfortable position. We'll just have to move for a better view. Go ahead. Good evening, Sharon. Sharon would like to know, but generally a male leopard will be quite a similar weight to a large hyena. Anything from sort of about 75 kilograms up to 90 kilograms. But a female leopard would be quite significantly smaller, probably about 20 kilograms, 20 to 30 kilograms lighter than a big hyena. So we can see now we've got a nice view of him plucking. So it's just using those front teeth there to just pluck the fur so you can get to the meat. It's amazing if you have a look at those claws. You can see how that cat's claws work there. So they are fully extended now. He's holding the steenbok So those claws will actually go back in when not needed and not used. There we go, you can see all the fur. Standing by F. Firm, just take that Indlela that runs from Quarantine down to Twin Dams to the south of Ingaskaya. And we are to the north, directly to the north of Ingaskaya itself. You can hear the bones crushing there as he's breaking through the whole nasal cavity. There we go. Nose is gone. And now he's going to try break into the cranial cavity where the brain is. There's a high protein there, so it'll be quite a good meal for him. And they're not able to do this on bigger animals because they're not as powerful in the jaws as lion and hyena. Good afternoon to Jackie's 8th grade class. They would like to know which leopard is this and what is he eating. This is Kunyuma. He's a young male leopard and he is eating a male steenbok, and there's very, very little of it left. So he, at the moment, he's trying to break open the skull to get to the brain, which is a very high protein source for an animal, so it's very good for him to eat. As you see, he's quite careful not to get those horns in his mouth because those are very sharp and could definitely do him some damage. And also, we can't see him now because we're watching the leopard, for the leopard to drop any bits of bone and whatnot that it's going to be able to scavenge. There you go. Looks like he's going to take off the ear. Standing by. What's he heard? He's heard something. No. Wait, there's another hyena on its way. We can't see from here. Go ahead. Good afternoon, Guru Raj. Welcome on Drive with us this afternoon. Guru Raj would like to know, when do leopards normally hunt? Well, Guru Raj, they prefer to hunt during the cooler times of the day and at night, but being opportunists, into early evening and throughout the night, and then again into the early morning, with a definite slowdown of activity during the warmer parts of the day. You can see he's managed to break through the cranial cavity there now. You see the horns are not staying in one place, they're loose. So he's actually cracked the bone at the main part of the cranium, the skull. And you can see there, and he's probably got quite a bit of the brains out already.
He's not going to eat the stomach contents, is he?
Generally not. No, he won't eat the stomach contents. That's just grass. The sniff, it didn't look like something very big to me. The hyena's got a small bone it managed to pick up that he would have dropped. It's amazing to hear that crunching. Go ahead. Good evening, Bob from Iowa. Bob would like to know which of Karula's boys is the oldest. Bob, I think it's difficult to know who was born first, but they're the same age. But if we had to go back into Karula's previous litters, I'm sure there are males that are much older than these two. You can see how he's, every now and then when he lifts again, let's have a closer look, you can actually see he's got the eye out and eaten the eye as well, and the eye socket's completely empty. He's literally eaten the whole steenbok. There might be a little bit left on the one leg, but he's just finished the skull. There's very little left on it now. standing by. Here we go, the hyena just heard something drop again, rushed in, from sleeping to nothing in a matter of seconds. Good evening, Elizabeth. I might try eat the stomach lining, and hyenas might. I have seen them leave it completely before. I've also seen them eat it. Also just depends on how hungry this particular hyena is. I'm just going to go forward a fraction so you can actually see the hyena. Now, obviously, as we move, the hyena's gone back to the same spot it was lying down, but if something else drops, we're in a good position to see what happens. So if we're lucky, when he's finished munching on what's very little left of this Stenbok carcass, he might move down towards the dam just to have a drink. So for those of you who knew and might have joined us late on this drive this evening, just to remind you that we are live from between Djuma and Arathusa private game reserves in the Sabi Sands of South Africa. Barring a few seconds of streaming over the internet, you are seeing exactly what I am seeing with my two eyes from all over the world. Oh, we can hear elephants arguing about something in the background. I can't imagine the ears taste too good. Not much meat in them, they're all gristle. I suppose all the protein counts. Can you even hear that crunch, 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 and he's eating the ear. And here comes the hyena, tiny little bone drop. And that hyena was up in a flash.
That's incredible.
That bone must not even been much bigger than my baby finger. But it's behind you, silly. Use your nose. You've walked past it. Here we go. Left. Left. There goes one ear. Gulp. And there goes the next ear. And yeah, how gristly. I mean, the ear is almost all gristle. There's very little meat in it.
So that's just a neck left. I'm sure that.
Yeah, it is a little bit of the neck. There you go. You can see how I was saying using his teeth to remove the fur before he starts eating. Another piece dropped, very small again. Okay. So Remy and a few other people are wondering, did he eat the horns? No, those two things that fell that set the hyena off running in, I think those were both the horns that fell then. Yep, the hyena just picked up a horn. But I can't taste very nice. It's amazing on these smaller animals that how they can almost devour the entire thing. Go ahead. So even though this might be quite gruesome, watching him kill other animals, I mean, they are protein eaters and meat eaters, and they also help with keeping the other animals healthy. So as soon as there's a sick or injured or old, they'll get preyed on by one of the predators. And the same goes around for the leopard. As soon as a leopard gets old, he's either going to be killed by another leopard, or by hyenas, or by lions, or even by buffalo or elephant. It's just the way life is. Sometimes we try to sort of distance ourselves and desensitize ourselves from nature, and certain sort of feel-good movies, cartoon movies about animals. It's life. Now he's getting into the leg there, and what he's doing is cracking open. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, and that looks like them up later. Another funny look after swallowing the hooves. Sorry, Gail. Gail asked us a question. How many hyenas are waiting for pieces of his kill? Gail, there's only one at the moment. You should hear that crunching as he goes through to try to get the marrow out of the bone again. Go ahead. Good evening, Lenny from Washington. Lenny would like to know whether big cats have taste preferences for different animals. It's very difficult to say, but I definitely say certain of the big cats have a taste preference. I'm not sure whether it's a taste preference or whether the species is most abundant. Difficult thing, but in certain areas lions will hunt buffalo, in certain areas they won't. In certain areas leopards will hunt quite a few different antelope, and in other areas they won't. I think a lot of it's got to do with availability of prey rather than a taste. Only go for really big animals: hippo, buffalo, elephant, giraffe, and warthog. So I thought initially we think maybe it's possibly the prey size, so they can catch a big thing, can feed them all for a long time. But then they had this thing, they always went for warthog, but they would walk past her. Oh, that's going to be very smelly for us down here now. You can see he's just opened the stomach. That smell's going to drift towards us now. So he's eating the sinew, or trying to eat the sinew on the side without getting the stomach content in his mouth. But doesn't seem to be doing the best job of it at the moment. So back to your question. So I'm not sure. I generally think most animals will take prey on preference due to size and availability rather than taste. But you never know, I might be completely wrong. So the hyena's getting confused. So bits of half-digested grass are falling out, and the hyena keeps thinking it's food. He's more... Hyena's getting a semi-digested grass shower. hungry. And quite often leopards will sometimes leave the stomach lining unless they are hungry, but he obviously was quite hungry, so he's actually eaten a lot of the stomach lining.
Smells not too bad actually.
I think the wind's in our favour. Negative. I cannot move, there are vehicles blocking me in. Shame old Kunyuma did not leave much for the hyena. See him cleaning his face and his paws. There's a strong possibility he might come down the tree and make his way towards the Djuma waterhole, which is not too far from here. Go ahead. Good evening, Teresa on Twitter. Teresa would like to know if the prey's meat might taste different depending on what they eat. Oh, I'll be back with your question now. The hyena has now decided to depart. You can see there's no food left. I'm going to go forage elsewhere. I guess it's possible depending on what they eat, and depending on the area they're in, Teresa. I mean, if we think about beef from different areas and fed differently definitely tastes different. So it's definitely possible. Go ahead. Amazing, you can see he's taking his time to clean. He might actually come down by the looks of things now. So he's literally probably 3 meters from where Andrew and I are sitting now. And waited for the hyena to leave, and there's a strong possibility he might move towards the dam fight hyenas from time to time. I've seen him sneak up and bite and scratch a hyena on the bottom before, just for good fun, which is quite a positive sign for him as a young male leopard. That means when he gets older, there's a possibility he's probably going to be able to get himself a really good territory when he gets older. And just as I predicted, it looks like he might head straight towards the dam. He's just checking out where that hyena went from. He could also just lie down there. Go ahead. Good evening, Anne from Durban. Anne would like to know, does Kunyuma know exactly where the water is, or can he smell it? I would think he knows exactly where the... Yeah. Copy, no problem. I'm going to stay with him. No problem, how you for?
What were you narrating for?
Sorry?
What were you narrating for?
We're live.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Online or?
Yeah, on the Nat Geo website.
Inside WildEarth Safari, it'll come up here the first one.
Alright, so enjoy guys, we're going to try and keep up with the leopard. There, now you can smell that, the smell of that, the stomach contents. If you can just tell him longer, say www.wildearth.tv. Come on, for. Okay, I've lost sight of him now while we're having a quick chat there. There he is. He's heading straight for the water like we predicted. Hi Kobus, it's Brent here. I'm still with Kunyuma. He's now mobile northwest towards WildEarthTV Dam. He is mobile towards Barry Dam. www.wildearth.tv.
Do you want to try and predict which
So he's just finished eating. He's got quite a bit of stomach content in his mouth, and even for a leopard who can eat completely rotten meat, I doubt that semi-digested grass is going to be a big favorite for him. So I'm quite sure he'd like to go wash some of it out of his mouth with a nice long drink. So we're just going to try to jump up around in the heaven now. Where did he disappear to? Oh, there he is. Ablutions. I love the colours at this time of the year with the changing bush willows. They just seem to match so well with it. Especially with that leopard. Just gonna loop around the next thicket. He's definitely not in a hurry to get down to the water. He's taking a very casual stroll. Which side of the bush is going to pop out? Left or right?
Do
you want to go forward a bit?
I think he may be walking this. Here he is, here he is.
I know, So even though he's just fed, he is an opportunist. So he just scouted ahead, having a quick look, make sure there wasn't a possible meal out there. Oh, what? Isn't that stunning? That sky, male leopard. Sick, there's a hole. So, guys, it's been an absolutely wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And for me, I'm very lucky I got to spend some time with my favorite leopard in the area. And it was nice, we got to do some different stuff. We saw some birds, did some trees. Saw a really nice bird that I actually personally haven't seen at Djuma yet, which is the Coqui Franklin. That was very nice. And just all in all, a great day. I'd like to say thanks to the whole world, whoever's out there watching. It's been great taking you guys on drive. And we can't wait to do it again tomorrow morning. And from all of us here at Wild Earth, I hope you have a fantastic evening or morning wherever you are in the world.